Mirandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahayam Dadati Svapadam Tikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Namaste Saraswati Dev Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Sunnabhadi Paschatya Desatarine Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shivarshavanavi Devi Dayataya Kripadvaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnanadaine Prabhave Namaha Madhurajjivala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktila Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namastute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Papa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Hari Hari Bol. First of all, I would like to say that I'm embarrassed to give class with so many renunciants, wonderful sannyasis. I don't know why they put me here today. So please tolerate my impudence in trying to speak about Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. It's not easy to speak about a Mukta Purusha and a Siddha, an eternally liberated soul. Whatever it may appear externally, birth, childhood, youth, achievements also, growth, and it's all something that goes on a parallel line with his eternal life in association with the Acharyas and Shri Radha Krishna and Gaurnitai, the Panchatattva. So we only, by his mercy, by their mercy, see something and detect something in their lives that may push us, bring us to take up Krishna consciousness. And his life was like this. Since he was born, as we all know, in Jagannath Puri, with the umbilical cord around his neck, and then the garland from the chariot, Jagannath's chariot, fell on him. The chariot wouldn't move for 3 days in front of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's place. Oh, by the way, English is not my mother language, so if I stumble or if I mispronounce something, feel free to correct me, okay? But don't throw anything at me. I may become revengeful, if you do that. No, okay, flower. he was born, a ray of Vishnu, as desired by Srila Bhaktivinoda. And we know at the age of 2 or 3, that always struck me very much, the mango pastime. He ate an unoffered mango, and for the rest of his life he didn't eat any mango, which is, incredible here in India. Langra, Gulab Khas, Imsagar, Alfonso, there's an incredible variety of mangoes that, will blow your mind. And he never took a mango. So I was wondering, how did he do that? Was that Bhaktivinoda Thakur chastised him so badly that he said, no, whenever I see a mango, I see Bhaktivinoda Thakur like a lion beating me up or something? What was that? But in reality, as I said earlier, there are two parallel lines that go in the life of a mukta purusha, of a liberated soul. So we saw a small child, but he wasn't a small child. He was a liberated soul in the body of a small child, in the instrument of a body, in the form of a body of a small child. He was in a condition in which he felt that he had betrayed the object of his love. That he had, just like, take for example, a Bengali mother or an Italian mother. They're good also. Not maybe as good as Bengali, but that they're very affectionate also. So take a very affectionate mother. She eats something, taking it away from the child. And the child is there with tear in the eyes. You took my date or whatever it is, whatever. And so she feels so bad, that every time she sees a date, she says, it's just like becomes a natural reluctancy in eating something that has caused pain to the object of your love. So that's why this renunciation was there. It was due to a natural reluctance to do something that had caused pain to Krishna, to Radha Krishna. Because Varshabhana Videvidaita, is a servant of Srimati Radharani. So he felt so bad, and not with the consciousness of a child, with the consciousness of a liberated soul, of an Ita Siddha. So this always struck me. Not eating mango, it's just like telling someone from South Italy never eat a pizza in his life, he'll probably commit suicide, So he did that, but he did that with a natural reluctance because of having offended Srimati Radharani, Shri Radha Krishna. And then, as we know, his life, he became known as Siddhanta Saraswati when he was still young, very, very young in school, because of his proficiency in his intelligence, even though growing, and he had this Kurma Didi from, I'm not trying to remember all his biography, but what, certain salient points, he gave up after a while, he gave up the study, because he said, if they think I'm stupid, they won't get me married, which means that, there is an element of stupidity in getting married, and I admit that, at least in my case. So he dropped out of school, and excuse me. But he was always since youth attracted by Srila Rupa Goswami's Prarthana, Prema Bhakti Chandrika, and that was his, there was the indication that his heart was fully immersed in the mission that he had to undertake later on. And so he, born in Bhaktivinoda's family, and then Srila Bhaktivinoda tells him to go and take initiation from Srila Gorakishora Das Babaji Maharaj. Now, also that initiation is something incredible. He was seriously threatening to commit suicide if the Guru hadn't given him initiation. Seriously. When he would go and ask Gorakishora Das Babaji Maharaj, may I take initiation from you? This is not to be replicated by us, Neither the mango, near, these other kind of attitudes. These are befitting a Mukta Purusha, an eternally liberated soul. If you have an aspiring disciple that throws himself out of the window, it's your fault. There's nothing transcendental in that. But he went to Gorakishore Babaji, who used to say, I have to ask Mahaprabhu. Now, can you imagine if someone, comes to me and said, Madhu Sevita, I want to take initiation from you. I have to ask Mahaprabhu. Come on. Immediately my name should be sent to the sannyas, to the Guru Service Committee, and I should be scratched off the list of initiating gurus. But these are transcendental leelas. They met by the transcendental order, as Prabhupada said once. So he was going, and he said, I have to ask Mahaprabhu. And then he would go back, I haven't asked him yet, I haven't seen, whatever he would say, And then go back, and then after a while, I said, I haven't asked Mahaprabhu yet. So at one point he said, I'm not gonna maintain my life. If you don't give me initiation, I'm not going to maintain my life. That's it. And he was serious. He was seriousness personified, determination personified. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. He didn't say just to create a reaction in Gorakishora Das Babaji, just to test him. No, he was determined. He was truly determined. So when Gorakishora Das Babaji saw that, he said, okay, let's do it. And he used to call him my Prabhu. He used to call, Gorakishora Das Babaji used to call Srila Bhakti Siddhanta my Prabhu. He said, he's like Raghunath Das Goswami. He was his only disciple, and he had, his heart would melt by looking at Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati and the devotion that he had. So, my Prabhu, he used to call him. And then we know, he came here to Mayapur and to the Goda Mandala. Nadda Godruma Nityananda Mahajan Patyachana Mahatta Jivarakaran. So he started chanting 300,000 names a day. He wanted to get to 1 billion. I made a calculation of how many names I chanted in my life. You can make it. It's, every day, 16 rounds, sometimes more. I think I'm, in 53 years, I'm around 600 millions. Not counting the kirtans, not counting the pranams. So he did, 1 billion in a short time. It's superhuman. It is not human. Don't try it. I remember here in Mayapur, once, I'm not going to mention names, but once Srila Prabhupada came, I think it was 76, 75 or 76, when he arrived, the managers here, they went to him and said, Prabhupada, we got a devotee here that, you know the story, he got the devotee here, he chants 180 rounds a day. And Prabhupada said, you know, he was walking here. Said, okay. And then he pays obeisance. I don't remember how many obeisances a day. And Prabhupada wants to live under a tree. Then he stopped with this kind of said, he wants? So it's all sense gratification, he said. He ended up, and the man didn't last, you know. So, you can, anukara anusara, you can't imitate these things. It's not possible. They have a transcendental energy. He is Gorashakti Svarupaya, Rupanuga. He has the energy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. He was sustained by the transcendental energy, the loving energy of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He cannot be imitated. It cannot be imitated. As it cannot be imitated is lion preaching. We go, you know, another very significant, you know, event in his life was when Srila Bhaktivinoda was ill. He was sick. He couldn't, you know, he was in the bed. And he had been invited by some Smarta Brahmanas. He had been invited, you know, for a confrontation, you know, Brahmana or Vaishnava, you know, who is on top, you know. They used to see it like that, you know. And Bhaktivinoda really wanted to go, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but he couldn't. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta had written an essay, you know, a paper, and he read to him while he was lying in the bed. And Bhaktivinoda started crying. He said, oh, I have someone who is going to defend our Siddhanta. You know, we have someone who's going to defend our Siddhanta. He said, go. And the word he used is, crash them. Bhaktivinoda said from the bed, he said, you crash them, you know. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur went there, and he did crash them. But in the beginning, you know, transcendental diplomacy, as our chairman told me yesterday, let's use some transcendental diplomacy up to a certain extent. We should use. But he went there and he first glorified the Brahmanas. And all those Smartas, you know, they were, wow, see? He's acknowledging the truth, you know, that we Brahmanas are on top. Vaishnavas, you know, they do what they can, you know, the sentiment, you know, it's like one is born in a low family, but, you know, we'll give you our mercy. So he first glorified the Brahmanas, but then he went to glorify the Vaishnavas. And a big mess came up, you know, when he glorified the Vaishnavas, they couldn't hold it anymore. They started shouting, you know, and, you know, trying to give arguments back. And he defeated them all. He just crushed them. And I want to read something I extrapolated from regarding, from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. There will not be such benefactors of the highest merit as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees have been. The offer of other benefits is only a deception. You say deception? Yeah. It is rather a great harm. Whereas the benefit done by him and his followers is the truest and greatest eternal benefit. This benefit is not for one particular country causing mischief to another, but it benefits the whole universe. The kindness that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown to jivas absolves them eternally from all wants, from all inconveniences, and from all the distresses. That kindness does not produce any evil, and the jivas who have it will not be the victims of the evils of the world. Now, still now, in India has produced the full moons of devotional service, but it also produced, these concocted ideas. The Smarta Brahmanas are one, and then we talk about the impersonalism also is another one. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati made it clear there is nothing in this world save and except devotional service. There's nothing. Anything that may appear to have some merit, some form of knowledge, some, sacrifice, some form of austerity, some humanitarian, even universal feeling of love, doesn't have any value. Doesn't have any value. And specifically, those who are, expanding these philosophies of, here the Smarta Brahmana, and let's go to the other one. Like Prabhupada, is glorified his spiritual master. Absolute is sentient. Thou hast proved. Impersonal calamity, thou hast moved. Right? Did I? Moved or removed? Okay, removed. Okay, removed. But don't remove me now because of the mistake. Okay. So here, this impersonal calamity. What's a calamity? Calamity is a disaster. Disastrous event. That's a calamity. Disastrous event that causes suffering, grief, destroys people's lives. It's like you say, a cataclysm. It's a synonym, a cataclysm. You have that in English, cataclysm. So, impersonalism, it's only one notch above the Smarta Brahmanas philosophy. Because ultimately they are also following impersonalism. So this impersonal calamity, Srila Prabhupada glorified Srila Bhaktisiddhanta because of his having destroyed this calamity, removed this calamity. But we can see that, this push for remaining envious, conditioned souls, and trying our best to avoid devotional service is still going on and will still go on, because it's an innate tendency within the heart. We have envied Krishna. That's why we are here. We have, how can you go back to love someone when you very deeply have come to the point of envying him? It's practically impossible. It needs a revolution, a total revolution in the heart. It needs, what was the example given? A vase, when you put some liquor in it, absorbs the essence of the liquor, of the alcohol. And how can you get it out of it, from the terracotta, How can you? So it really needs a miraculous surgical operation in the heart. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati is the one who started that eternal operation. He started it by his preaching, by the Harinam Sankirtan, by the Parikram, by everything. But he started it mostly and primarily and practically in the most intense way with the printing of books. The printing and the circulation of books. He said, Srila Prabhupada took initiation, if I'm not mistaken, in 1922. Then he said he saw Srila Bhakti Siddhanta not very many times, I think 12 times in his life. In 1935, he saw Srila Bhakti Siddhanta and he made this poem for his Vyasa Puja, Absolute Sentient Thou is proved, impersonal Kanami Thou is removed, okay? So, but then Srila Bhakti Siddhanta told him, correct my Bengali pronunciation. He said, Amar Icha Chila Kichu Bai Karana. Amar Icha Chila Kichu Bai Karana. Shishirada Madhava Ki Jai. Amar Icha Chila means I have a wish, I have a desire. I have a desire. Kichubai Karana. To print some books. He said to Prabhupada. And then he added, if you have money, print books. If you have money, print books. And, I mean, he started, when he was a child in his house, Srila Bhaktivinoda in the house started a printing press. Can you imagine if you go home and you bring a printing press, your wife will shoot you, But, but he started at home a printing press, Srila Bhaktivinoda. And then Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, 3 printing presses he started. The latest one in Ultadanga, I believe. So, that was the thing. And we know, we are here following and fulfilling Srila Bhaktivinoda wish and dream from Godrum, that from all over the world, people will come and chant Hare Krishna. We are here because of books. Because Srila Bhakti Siddhanta imbibed in Srila Prabhupada this thing. You print books and distribute books. Because otherwise this calamity will Kaivalyam narakayate tridasapura kasa pushpayate durdante, okay, etc., etc. Kaivalyam narakaya, this is hell. The impersonal philosophy, Mayavadi, to consider the form of Krishna, to consider devotional service, the paraphernalia, to be Maya. It's hell, it's hellish. Is denying your own existence. You might be thinking, I'm canceling Krishna but you are denying your own existence. It's just like a son or a daughter that denies the existence of his parents. But you automatically deny your existence. If you had no parents, how would you be here? So denying, being a Mayavadi. Mayavadi, sunile basya hoya sarvanas. Lord Chaitanya said, you hear that philosophy with attention, not that you're walking and some Mayavadi is saying, then you get contaminated. But if you go in here with attention, everything will be destroyed. Because it will make sure that your envy remains eternally in your heart, your envy of Krishna. That's what the Mayavadi philosophy does. It kills you. It destroys you, your real identity. But Krishna continues to dance with the gopis. It's not says, Madhu has become a Mayavadi, I can't dance with the gopis anymore, No, he'll continue. He's in ecstasy and will continue anything that happens. But you will lose your eternal identity. And therefore, even he is a follower of the Goswami, Kaivalyam, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanaika Nipuno, Kaivalyam Nishtarako. That's what they were doing, spending the ocean of nectar and destroying Mayavadism, destroying impersonalism. That's what they were doing. This was their life. And that's also the life of Bhaktivinoda, the life of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, and the life of Srila Prabhupada. And use any means. If some new technology comes up, and you can put all of Srila Prabhupada's books within a pill, you take the pill, and then you just sit down and go through the chapters. Take that pill. Don't worry. Even if it's a bit heavy on the liver sometimes, but take it. Whatever technology, whatever necessary, whatever it takes. But right now, this pill is not on the market yet. There are books, Srila Prabhupada's books. And they should go out by the billions, not by the millions. Right now, we are a bit over 500 million. But we will not be, at least I will not be here. Some may be very, very, long-lived. But we should think of billions of books coming out. Because there is no other way. There is no other way. If you give them a book, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta is looking at you. Srila Bhakti Vinod, they are looking at you with tears in their eyes. They are there. They haven't disappeared. They haven't gone away. That's another incredible faculty, capacity of the Nitya Siddhas, of the liberated soul. Out of affection, out of love, Srila Prabhupada loves this movement, loves the devotees. And so does Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, and so does Srila Gorkishore, and Srila Bhakti, throughout the parampara. They love it. They are watching us. Be sure they are watching us. Even the most quote-unquote insignificant book distributor, a child that does it so he gets a ladu after he gives a book, So, go out. But I'll give you ladu, I'll give you toffee. If you go, I give you a book. Okay, I'll go out and give you a book, Even that is seen and loved by our acharyas. So there is nothing else. There is nothing else than preaching Krishna consciousness, living a Krishna conscious life, preaching Krishna consciousness, and without, undergoing some self-torture, admit that we are totally impotent when we are facing with the, envious attitude that is still within our heart. So we have to do our service with an humble, most humble prayer at the feet of the acharyas, at the feet of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. Remove anything, these anarthas within my heart. Please remove this original envy of Krishna. Please let me come back to the original family of Krishna consciousness. So that should be our prayer. And we should enact that prayer, not just as, bhajananandis. We should go out and preach and distribute books like anything. And then the realization of their presence will become thicker and thicker. Bhakti parisanubhavo viraktir anyatra chasatrika eka kala. This perception of their presence, of the presence of Srila Prabhupada, of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, and of Srila Bhakti Vinod, especially here in Mayapur, can be felt. And Mayapur is everywhere, wherever there is a book. Vrindavan is everywhere. You may be in the coldest or most horrible street in Buzukistan, whatever, I don't want to mention it, but if you're in Mayapur and Vrindavan and you're bringing a person into Mayapur and Vrindavan just by preaching and giving them a book of Srila Prabhupada, And I would like to end retelling something that Jananivas Prabhu many years ago told me about Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. There was this brahmachari, young brahmachari, that had taken initiation from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. It was a young chap, you know, and so he wanted to, he wanted to see, how young devotees are, to see what he's doing, So he saw him going out one night from his house here. He saw him going out. So he followed. And he saw him walking, alone. He saw him going out. So and then a very bright, luminous, effulgent Sankirtan party came. You know the story, you heard? A beautiful, they were beautiful. And he saw them, he said, where are these entities, these people, who are they? And and Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada stopped and spoke to them for a while, and then he went back to his house. So he asked him later, who are they? He said, it was a Sankirtan party from Siddhaloka. I mean, that's incredible. So, and thank you for telling me that story, Jananivas. And it is also, now, of course, we are getting old. When we were here like 53 years ago, we were young. But, at that time, there were still people saying that when Srila Bhakti Siddhanta would come out on the balcony of his house, anything anybody would be doing, like plowing the field or doing something, he was feeling something, something has changed. And then, he must be out. Then, turn and see he was on the balcony, looking at, because he had his consciousness would just reverberate in people's hearts. And so we are very thankful to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, to Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, to Srila Gurkizar, that have given us Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. But we are very thankful to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada for giving us our Srila Prabhupada, because it's due to them. If we have any slight, small chance of going back to Godhead, amongst quintillions, trillions, quintillions of living entities just on this planet. You know how many insects are on this planet? 10 quintillions. 10 billions of billions. And they're all souls. I think 10 trillions of fishes. And we are here, in a human form. Jai Srila Prabhupada and Jai Shri Radha Madhava. Please protect us that we don't throw away this human form, but we use it till the last drop of blood to print and distribute your books. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Jai. Hare Krishna. Now, any questions or comments? I would rather have comments from exalted devotees here.
Thank you, Prabhu, for inspiring class. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, he's famous for being so determined.
Yeah.
But as Prabhupada told us, he left early because he was disappointed. So why would such a determined person leave early because he was disappointed? That's the question.
His disappointment was due to the fact that he saw that the Gaudiya Math would become an archipelago. As we know, they didn't follow his instructions. I mean, we are no one to criticize, but we are repeating Srila Prabhupada's report on the situation. So he saw that, and he saw the advent of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. That's why he left. And but there is no question of disappointment in a liberated soul, because they know that ultimately Krishna consciousness will prevail. I remember once in Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada given a class, twice. Once here in Mayapur, he said, trying to turn a Sudra into a Brahmana is like trying to wash coal. So, to wash coal, you know, the carbone in Italian. So, but then he said, but let's try. And in Vrindavan, he had said, something regarding how the conditioned soul goes down into, from Brahma not from Brahma, generally not, but from the Hiranyagarbha, one comes out in the universe and goes down like a worm in the stool, or an insect or whatever. But he said, and he was talking about those who really don't want to accept Krishna consciousness. But he said, but ultimately, everyone will become Krishna conscious, Prabhupada said, ultimately. Because it's the natural condition of the soul. So there is no real Vishvam Purnam Sukhayate, as he said by Prabhupada Saraswati. He sees the universe, happiness all over. Why? Says, oh, I'm a devotee, you are suffering like hell. Oh, thank God. No, that's not the feeling. The feeling is that to see the end of Krishna everywhere, how Krishna is helping everyone, even in the conditions that you may think, oh, he has abandoned them, Asuris eva yonisu, or put you down as a stone or whatever. But still he's helping. He will never give up. Krishna will never give up. Shishirada Madhava ki jai. Am I off the hook?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.